So, and we are live, guys. This is kind of impromptu. We kind of figured last minute both of us would be available to get on. I figured since I had this one in, quick wristwatch check, by the way, I am wearing the Axios. This is the flagship model. This is a Random Rob Tour watch with its Patreon group. This is a pretty cool watch. I have
That's
this,
a nice watch.
Believe it or not, I actually have the Cadison on the way. It's on delivery, and I'm sure you guys have heard of the company. It's a Chinese company that mainly does homages. And that's what I kind of wanted to bring the topic of homage watches tonight, which I know it's been beaten about to death. By the way, of course, you guys know my buddy George. What are you wearing tonight, George?
I am still wearing the Patty.
Okay. Nice.
So
Still
on that Crafter blue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an awesome strap. I like the way it that's what I love. I love the way it's right on the lugs, so like it turns down.
Nice.
Like so.
Okay. We got Jason Design Atelier. We got Orange Hand and Clint Walker in the comments here. What's going on, guys? What are you guys all wearing in the comments? And yeah, Jason is kind of a surprise live. Like I mentioned earlier, it was kind of impromptu. We figured we'd do it now because Bobby's going to do his at 9 o'clock, and I didn't want to do one at the same time as Bobby was doing his. He's doing a, I believe, a collection review again. Him and Alvin are going to be on there, so I didn't want to, do one at the same time as them. But tonight's topic is homages and what you guys think, what we think about them. Personally, like I said, I've got a couple in, and I feel like I don't think it's a bad thing as long as they kind of do their own thing, just like with this one. Like my buddy James, this great Gambino, you guys have seen him on the channel. He said it kind of reminds him of a little bit of the Rado, like the Captain Cook kind of look. And again, this is the Axios, guys, the flagship. And this one has the Miyota movement for $500. It's actually a lot of watch for the money. And as long as it doesn't have like, Rado, of course, on the dial or their symbol or something, I feel like it's all right. What do you think? Because everything's going to start from somewhere.
I mean, well, like here's one thing. First off, that's a nice watch. Like I know I was telling you earlier, it reminds me of the and again, this is just kind of from a distance. It reminds me as like the Omega Seamaster, the 300, the vintage one that was like a big military watch. But I don't mind. There you go.
Close up.
Yeah, it kind of does still remind me of the Seamaster, the Seamaster 300.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind homages as long as they're not like you said, a direct ripoff. And if an homage to is if it's not a copy, but if it's an homage to a watch that is like crazy, stupid expensive, like the Rolex 1016.
Yeah.
The Explorer. Like, I know I'm never going to get my hands on one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like my Smith's Everest. And here's another thing too, as long as it's a good quality watch,
mm-hmm.
I don't mind it either. Now, I know you said Steinhardt, and I mean, Steinhardt are they're good quality watches. But they're really direct. Like they look an awful lot
like I showed you way back when it didn't take them long. They've already got a direct copy of the Sermon, the new Sermon that's out.
Yeah.
The Steinhardt.
I mean, but still, I mean, I think there's a place for them, because not everybody's going to be able to get, especially now, when you can't even get stainless sports models. And I mean, I think you can always sell it too.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to actually upgrade to the real thing on any watch, you can always sell it.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it too. We got JC Reviews in here too. Josh, what's going on? Josh, how you doing today, buddy? But you can always, the way I look at it is you can always test drive it. You know, for somebody like me, you like I know personally, you know me, I do like usually one big purchase a year. I'm not like
Right.
some of the people that can get out there and buy, you know, Rolex after Rolex after Rolex,
Right.
and you know, which maybe one Rolex in my lifetime, the one I have now, might even be the only Rolex I ever get. But for somebody like me, you know, it gives us a chance to kind of like test drive the look and see if we want to spend that kind of money on the said watch.
Yeah.
I feel like then that way, like I always say, you know, if you want the Submariner look, go for like an Invicta Pro Diver for like less than $100. I know a lot of people down Invicta, but it has that Submariner look, and you can kind of throw it on different straps and everything. You can see whether you like it, spend the money on it, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like you're not out a lot of money, you know, like the and too, like, you know, you could always like the Invicta, the Pro Diver, you could always you know, I think there's always a place for watches like that. Like you could go on vacation with it, you know, hop in a pool, not care about, you know, anything, not care if you leave it in the hotel room and you fly back home.
Or somebody swipes it off your wrist, you know, you don't have to worry about it. You're like, I mean, $100 is $100, but still, it's not. It's better than losing.
But it's not
$9,000 or $10,000.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but plus too, to go back to your point about like test driving a watch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point because, like, let's say that Smith's Everest that I have for 36 millimeter, like, that was the first 36 millimeter watch I ever had. So I think I had one previously, but that was the first 36 automatic I ever had. So when I bought it, like, it was a good gauge to see if I liked 36 millimeter watches, you know, or if I could wear it. I mean, I wear anything I want, but to see if it looked good, you know. Yeah, I mean, like Orange Hand says, there's nothing you know, if a watch is inspired by it, but they do their own little twist on it, those are always cool watches. There's a place for, you know, all those
Which
things.
is kind of what a lot of micro brands do in a way too. Like there's a lot of micro brands out there that will kind of take, you know, kind of like this one, take their own twist on it and throw, you know, their own spin. And like I said, for $500, you can get a decent looking watch with a lot of, you know, good quality compared to going out and spending, which, like I said, this one, and it kind of does kind of remind me of the Rado a little bit. The Rado is what, like $2,000?
I think so. Yeah,
right around $2,000. So I mean, you can get that.
What other homages have you had like direct experience with?
I'm trying to think because I've had so many different pieces in. Like I know, like I said, the Pro Diver. I've had a couple of those in that I bought on my own and ended up, you know, just kind of catch and release. I may end up buying another Pro Diver at some point, just because. But I'm honestly trying to think. There's been a couple different micro brands, like the Zenea Diver. I feel like that was kind of like a little bit homage to Blancpain in a way.
Okay.
Like the 50 Fathoms. And there's been a few others, but like I said, like a lot of different micro brands kind of do that. And then Clan Walker's saying that's why he likes Zelos, which Zelos is actually their sister company. The same people own Zelos that own Axios too. So you can tell it's got that Zelos quality. And Zelos is one of those brands too. They kind of do their own kind of thing too, those Zelos. Like they kind of do something kind of unique.
Axios and Zelos, they handle watches from A to Z, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sam Martin, Jason's asking us about Sam Martin. I've actually never had experience with Sam Martin. That's one of the ones I've been wanting to get in. I don't know if you guys heard me mention earlier, though. I'm finally getting in a Cadison, which I'm waiting on it to be delivered today by UPS. It's the Chinese homages, and they are kind of almost direct homages to that, which I kind of feel like Sam Martin's almost like a direct homage to like the certain watches, right?
I think I think San Martin makes an homage to the Marine Master, don't they? I thought they did which, you know what? That's a good idea to try. I've never had or have any experience with a San Martin, but if you're in the market for a Marine Master, well, then try that San Martin, because like, especially with me, the bigger watches, I don't, I worry how they're going to look on my wrist.
Yeah.
And I heard that, I forgot what the Marine Master is. Is it 45 or 46 mil?
Something like that, yeah. But Seikos, as you know, like your Patty, the Seikos always kind of wear smaller than their specs.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do like about Seiko. Speaking of Seikos, Josh JC Reviews is saying that is the SNZ, which I had that too, is a homage to the Blanc Pawn, which it is technically a homage, I feel like, to the Blanc Pawn.
Yeah, and so a lot of people mod them to make them look directly like. That's the one that they used to do the 55 fathoms. So the case is the case looks almost not almost, it looks a lot alike to the Blanc Pawn.
Yeah. Definitely. Six Killer's asking what's going on with Six Killer. I see him comment in a lot of my videos, but he's asking what the top 5 microbrands to look at. I did a video a while back. If I had to rate them right now off the top of my head, in no particular order, and I'm probably missing some out because I've reviewed so many. For originality, I like Talker does really well for originality. Talker does quality. Zelos does good quality, especially for original kind of design and original, like really good specs for what you can get. I'm trying to think of what else. Probably Ocean Crawler. They make good ones. Swiss Watch Company, I just did that one today. They do really good too. Him and his dad are this American company, which a lot of them are American owned. They're just but a lot of them are made in Switzerland. I'm trying to think of like a fifth. Would you have a list that you would think of for microbrands?
Do you consider Manta a microbrand?
Actually, yeah, Manta. Yeah, I never even thought about Manta. That's one that
I know everybody.
Yeah.
I have not handled the Marine Master to compare to.
Yeah.
See, because I know Jason's saying about a Marine Master. I love the look of the Marine Master. That is one of my grails, but it's like it's gone down a little in priority on my on my watch list, but that's one that, although it's 46 mil, I've heard that it wears a lot smaller than that because of like how small the dial is, and like
the lug and everything.
The lug's really small on that.
Yeah.
But I think to try a San Martin would be a good experience. I don't know how much San Martins cost.
Yeah,
I think they're only a couple hundred.
Really, yeah, they're not real expensive, I don't think. But going back to the the issue, like I was saying, like I don't have a problem with homages because I feel like it's a good way to test drive a watch, and as long as they're not like a blatant direct copy, which some of them are. Now I can't speak for San Martin, like I said, I've never really held one in person, so I can't say yay or nay either way. I mean, I could say I like their design; they do really good design. So, but I would like that's one I would like to get in the channel and check out, so I can kind of form my own opinion on one.
What's a watch, an homage watch that even a homage company that their quality is really good is that Korean company Tissel.
Have
you ever had any experience with it?
No, I haven't. Them and what is it? Tavise does and the Tavise does like a Submarino homage, I think too.
Okay, well how much are those Tissels? I don't think they go. I think they range anywhere from like $100 to $200. And I was on a watch tour with Rob one time, and he had I think it was an all green Submariner homage. That was a Tissel, and the quality on it was really surprising. I mean, it even had the glide lock clasp, and I was like, I mean, that was my only experience with a clasp that was close to the glide lock.
Yeah.
And that, like, it's funny because that watch, that homage watch, made me it made me a bigger fan of the glide lock because I hadn't experienced it before. Because the sub that I have has the old, stamped clasp because it was before, it's an older, God, I forgot when my dad got it, but yeah, that's a company they recently, probably within the last year or two, came out with an Explorer homage, and it looked on their website. It looked really nice. I think I've seen some videos on it too. So,
and Orange Jan is saying he's seen he's asked if we saw the snowflake, the Tudor snowflake on Noma, and I've seen that. That is tempting for $500, and it looks really close to the Black Bay.
I haven't seen it.
Then again, another argument on another side of the coin too, though, you spend that $500-$600 on the homage, and then that's money that could go towards the real thing as well,
Yeah, but you could always sell it. I think people make. I don't think people lose a lot of money on Steinhardts. I think there's always a market for them.
Especially limited edition ones like that.
Right.
And then, nice, Jason. You'll like the Zelos Horizon. Zelos makes some great watches. I'm assuming you meant Zelos. That's probably a typo there in zeros. I think the Horizon is Zelos. But yeah, those are, like I said, Zelos. I can't say enough about Zelos. And that's, like I said, that's who makes these Axios. They have 2 watches out so far. They have this one and their other watch when they first came out. If you remember the Ironclad, I think it's called. It's like a direct homage almost to a Submariner. But it's almost, it's different from the Steinhardt, whereas it's like the 40 compared to, like we were talking earlier, you mentioned, the Steinhardts only come in 42 millimeter and 39 millimeter. They don't come in the 40 millimeter size.
40.
That a lot of people like.
Well, and I think they do that to try to, not get so close to Rolex. I don't have, what's a micro brand company that, God, they were really popular for a while, and then I haven't heard anything from them. Is Janelle?
Yeah, I had actually, that was one of the first ones, if you remember, that was one of the first ones I reviewed. They had actually sent me in one, and I got to keep it for a little while, and they actually are made really well. I can see why
they are made really well.
I can see why people pay, $1,200 for them, because they were really well made. But at the same time, there was that controversy that they had where they were selling supposedly fake Rolexes, or they had come from a fake Rolex shop or something at some point.
I think the story behind them was at one time they used to produce fakes. And I
then
think
they kind of like denied it or whatever. And
they
just didn't say anything. They just almost kind of went
out.
Either
they got pinched for it, or they were close to getting pinched for it. And then they switched and started making their own watch, which it was nice. It was a nice watch.
Yeah.
I think, didn't you let me borrow it?
I think I did, yeah.
I think you did let me borrow it. I remember handling one.
What's going on, Rob? You want me to send in the link here, Rob? I can send you a link if you want. But yeah, we're just talking homages, Rob. I got in that the Axios today. I'm sure you saw probably in the Discord group that I got that in. Pretty cool. And then I had I had to order the Cadison on my own. I'm waiting on it to come at some point, Rob. So I've never really had the Cadison homages in, but we're just talking homages today and just getting what our takes on what's your take on it, Rob? I know you've reviewed a whole bunch of different ones.
I'm wondering, man. I think I may have done a tour with a Janelle with Rob too. I remember having some experiences with those.
Yeah, I may have sent you in the Janelle I had, but like I said, they're really well made. And my thing is, if they had come out and said, "Hey, we were coming from whatever such and such shop," then I think
now
they would have gotten a lot less flack.
Yeah, but I think like they kept denying it and like something like that.
Nice, Jason got that video. I got to check that video out. Still, you did one on the Oris, right, Jason? I think I'll have to check that one out here shortly. But yeah, I just figured, like I said, we get in live stream because I know Bobby's doing his later tonight at 9, so I didn't want to do mine at the same time.
I get it.
Yeah, you got anything else to add into that with the homages?
No, just like I said, other than that, other the fact that I think there's a place for them. Especially if if you're a high school kid, if you're a college kid, and you hope to one day get, let's say, a sub or something like that. Let's be honest. If you spend $500 on an homage watch, the $500 is not going to keep you from getting a sub. You know what I mean? Like, now a couple grand or a few grand that can derail you, for a little bit, or or sometimes for a long time. But especially if you get one early on in your watch collecting, career or whatever. It's good to have an inspiration. If you keep looking at your Steinhardt or whatever, and you say, hey, one day I'm going to get the real thing. One day you keep looking at it, and you know what I mean?
Because I think it was, who was it? Was it Adricos back in the day? I don't know if you remember his channel.
I remember, yeah.
Because I think, didn't he start out with like a Steinhardt, and then he ended up moving up to like Rolex and all that, I think.
Yeah. That's exactly. Oh, he was a big Steinhardt guy.
And their quality, I definitely think their quality there. And then Rob's saying, look up the definitions and terms. Replica is a thing in cars when they're fine and braced, which they are.
Yeah. Well, how many, you look at the, if you bringing up Rob's point, that, what's that, like Stu Performance and
the Cobras.
If you really look at those Cobras, a lot of people say the ride quality is better in those than in the real thing, Oh
yeah. Okay, he's saying Andy was hardcore Rolex anti-homage, then he went homage. Okay. Which I guess it makes sense if you're worried. Like I remember, I think, who was it? Do you watch Austin Daniels? He was talking about going. He was talking about going to another country, which he lives in Japan, but he was talking about going to another country and worried about wearing his Rolex. That's one of the points where you could wear a Steinhardt again, and if something happens to it, it gets robbed off your wrist or whatever. You don't have to worry about it. You're not going to be out $9,000, $10,000.
Well, like when I've gone to like Mexico, and when we're like on the resort. I'll have the my sub or the Tudor Black Bay along the resort, because these resorts are huge. You know what I mean? Like you could, but then like whenever we're off the resort somewhere, because every hotel room has a safe in it, and you program your own combination when you first get there, and so. Yeah, while I'm on the resort and we're out to dinner there, and we're walking through the shops there on the beach, I'll have the sub or the Tudor Black Bay, and as soon as if we get off the resort for something, I'll throw on the XKX, in case anything happens, like
you're only out a couple $100.
You're only out a couple $100.
Yeah. And then Jason's saying, by definition, replica is not necessarily a copy of the original, but once it has intention to deceive people, that's the original thing. That's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, he's spot
that's
on.
why I have that's why I have a problem with it. Like if it's faked and like a direct fake and it doesn't have the name of said company on there, it just has Rolex on there and it's not like real, like you see them on Instagram all the time. Like you can order probably for like $400 or $500 like a fake OP41. They're starting to come out with now. I see, and you can tell they're fake. But like I'd rather spend that $400 or $500 towards something like this.
Now
I know it's legitimate.
I'll tell you which homages I'm against too.
Mm-hmm.
Cobra, Porsche, all the greats. Yeah, I mean,
mm-hmm.
One day my grail as far as cars is concerned is a Cobra replica. Like I said, one of the Superformance ones or stuff like that. Because I mean, what does an actual Shelby Cobra go for?
Like $1 million plus sometimes, I think,
right,
depending on the model.
And yeah, I'd rather drive around in a better engineered, replica and then you're not worried about where you park. I mean, you may still be worried about it because you don't want anything to happen to it, but you're going to worry a lot less than driving around in $1 million car. It's the same idea in a watch. But to go back to what I was saying, the homages that I'm against are ones that there's a letter off in the name, and they'll even use the same font, like you'll have a Relax Submariner and they'll still have the crown, like that kind of stuff. I don't like those homages, or it says, like Bolex on it instead of Rolex, like.
It's funny because I work at Lowe's and we sell it's like a flooring product. I have to send a picture sometime, but it's actually called Volex. It's like a spray, and it's called Volex. That's pretty funny.
Does it have? I bet you it's in a whole different like font and everything, right?
Oh yeah. It's not like the same like symbol or anything, but I just thought it was funny because I remember seeing that and I'm thinking fake Rolex. I see that Jason's saying Pagani Design has replicas almost exact to Rolex, and they do. I've seen some of the reviews on them. I've never had personal interaction with one. I definitely do want to get one on the channel at some point just to see what their if the quality is any good. I'm wondering what they put like them with maybe the same tier as like Invictus, maybe. Like Pagani, or maybe are they a step above Invicta? Maybe
I don't know. I think, in all honesty, just because I've never had, if I had a choice between a Pagani and Invicta, like a straight up homage, I would still probably go with an Invicta Pro Diver, only because I don't have experience with a Pagani. Number one. And number two, I know the Invicta, at least it has a Seiko movement in it.
And I think even, sorry to interrupt, but I think even if you watch Timeless Watch Channel, I think he's got multiple Rolexes. I think he's done one or two Pagani videos, I think.
Okay.
So I don't know if that attests to the quality or not,
Well, you know what's another thing, too, is if you get like an Invicta Pro Diver, I know you talked about, you're pulling money away from your Rolex fund. So let's say if you wanted to go straight, low tier money, go with a Pro Diver. And then as you get closer to your sub, or you do wind up getting the sub, then use the Pro Diver to mod it. And create your own different spin on it or whatever. I have one that, do you remember that girl? She used to do, her name's CG.
I don't think I ever saw any of her videos.
Her channel's really cool. She had a really cool channel, and she's an even cooler person.
Okay, cool.
In fact, one time we were in Florida, and this is when she lived in Florida. We whatchamacallit, we met up for lunch and stuff, and but she used to do when she had her channel, she used to do a bunch of mods on camera. you know, like she used to speed up the camera and do the different mods. She did a pro diver for me that has
Yeah.
the Omega. I think it was an homage to the Omega Seamaster 300.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a killer watch. You just use it for NATOs and stuff like that. It's like a you know, one of my watches that, you know, I wear comfortably. I don't have to worry about anything happen to it.
Yeah.
And that she modded it great, and like I said, Seiko movement hacking. And it's not like they're trying to hide that they're Invicta. You know, Invicta's carved right
it's
on
got
the side.
their logo right here on the, just like Squally does on the side of the case.
Right.
That was one of my only turnoffs on the Squally, is the huge Squally on the case.
She used to polish that out.
Yeah.
She used to polish the Invicta logo out. You can't even tell it there.
Take like a grinder or something.
Yeah, she used to. God, I'll have to send you the link to the to her videos when she used.
I've never seen her. I remember looking them up. I don't know if she's taking them down, but I remember somebody talking about her channel before.
Yeah,
and I couldn't find it. So if you can, send me a link.
Yeah, she used to, like, you know, have the grinding wheel and stuff, and she used to and then polish it too. You could never tell it was there.
Cool. And Jason's saying Pagani Design has worse finish. You can even see on the videos.
I'll have to check those out.
Yeah. I'll have to look at them a little more closely. So that's like I said, that's definitely another one I want to get in. Like I said, I have the Caddis, and I'm waiting on, of course, UPS still to deliver it, which it could be 8, could be 9, whatever. You know how late they are some days. So and that it's definitely a direct, almost homage to the Royal Oak. And when I got it in, or when I ordered it, I didn't realize it's actually a 46 millimeter. So it's a huge sucker. even for my Chris, it's a huge sucker. So just like I said, I just want to get one in just to experience it. You know, I mean, it's probably just going to be a catch and release more likely.
What on a real Royal Oak? What size is a real Royal Oak?
That I'm not real sure.
Is it a 40?
I was gonna say, does that sound right? I've only handled one AP in my life, and that was at ECJ Lux. Ross was kind enough to get one out the vault and let me try one on.
Okay.
I think I seen you pictures that day, but that and those are killer. I see why people really like them, but I know me personally, I'm probably never going to be in that realm. I mean, you never know. I'd never say never, but I'll probably never be in that realm of spending $30,000 on a watch. So that's one of the things where Jason's saying. He's saying 39. Okay. But
I'd like to.
Like I said, I was lucky enough to try one on in person when I went there. They are. I see the, I can see why they're hyped. Like they're definitely a killer watch.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never even seen one in real life, like even at ADs or anything.
What's going on, Ken? We got Ken checking in from Pittsburgh. Hopefully you're staying warm, buddy. I saw there's a whole bunch of snow up that way, huh? Are you guys getting any your way? George?
We've gotten a little bit of snow, but it's not sticking to the ground yet.
And speaking of going back to the AP, you remember when I had in that's another one I missed and may end up being a rebuy as well, possibly sometime after the Breitling. You remember when I had the Acon in the Maurice Lacroix? And those are almost kind of like a direct homage, you can tell, to the Royal Oak. But for somebody like me, that, like I said, is probably never gonna even be close to buying a Royal Oak. That's as close as I can get. And Maurice Lacroix is a pretty respected brand too. Like they do it almost down to a T. Even they even had the integrated bracelet, which I don't usually like, but I feel like they did such a good job on that it was a comfortable watch. But
like on a Royal Oak, or even like on a or on the watch that you had. But to talk about the Royal Oak specifically, like based on the design of the case, it's almost good that it has an integrated bracelet, because based on the case shape, like I don't know what else would look good on it. Like it's like it looks good on the way it was meant, with that integrated bracelet. I can't imagine it with something else on.
Yeah. Jason St. Maurice Lacroix gets so little love. They do. Like when they first came out, though, they were pretty popular. I remember seeing a lot of videos on them.
I remember on the Facebook groups, people used to put in a lot.
And then Peter C's saying Peter C's the one that he sent me that Timex Q, the vintage one. He's saying, please forgive me, but I bought the Invicta when you said you can polish out the branding on the side.
Yeah, you can. I have to. Chris, I'll send you the video. Okay. I'll see if I could find the video where she grinds it out. And if he wants to, hit us up on Messenger, I could always send him the link to that video.
Cool. I've got his number too. He's, like I said, he's the one that kindly let me in the original Timex Q. Okay. So I'll do it like a comparison of the mine and then his that he has here probably another week or so. So and Jason's saying, did you guys see my tuna with a Royal Oak bracelet? I don't think I saw that one, Jason.
No, I don't think so.
And then look up my SRP A83.
I'll check it out.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. And for those of you guys that are in the comments, by the way, if you hadn't seen Jason's channel, it's his namesake on here. Go check him out. He does great work, guys. Great editing. Way better editing than I'd ever do. I'm just now getting my lighting down.
I checked out a couple of his videos the other day. They're really good videos.
And he does his research too, you can tell.
Yeah.
And then Ken Spears saying he was at the AD yesterday. He was allowed to try on a $38,000 Ulysses Nardin tourbillon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. God, 38 grand.
That's pretty cool.
Man. I can't even imagine going to this.
Can't imagine. Yeah, that's crazy. Was it on Instagram? No, it's an older YouTube channel, I believe. If that's the Invicta you're talking about still. Oh, okay. He's talking about design. They're having a conversation in between. And then Six Killer said, yeah, you need to subscribe to Jason's channel. And then Josh too, if Josh is still in here, J City Reviews, he does great work too as well. And then Rob's saying it's fun to try on baller watches. Yeah, we can all dream, right? We're not all lucky like some people that can go out and buy a high-end watch almost like every other week, it seems like.
I think the only watches that I've indulged myself with trying on are like different Rolexes and Omegas.
Yeah. I've tried on a few different Rolexes at the kind of localish 80 to me. And then when I went to Philly, of course, I tried on a whole bunch. Now, there is, and he did invite me up there, which I'm not going to, I don't want to say too much. I will be, whose channel I'm going to be a guest on probably, hopefully in a couple of weeks. He invited me up there. So maybe after the pandemic, I might have to make a trip up there and go see what all he has and maybe play with some really killer watches.
You know which Rolex I tried on was the James Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
And God, it's an awesome watch. I want that watch, but I don't want to go diving with it because it'll probably drag me all the way to the bottom.
I tried on the Sea Dweller. It was the regular one. I think I sent you a picture when I did it, the AD down here, and it surprisingly fit me really well. For the size, I would compare them with the what would you see with Rolex and Omega? Would you say like the Planet Ocean and the Sea Dweller are probably about the same? Well, I know a lot of people not me on that, but as far as like going after each other, they're kind of like the same.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, like the price. Of course, the price difference is is what it is, but like. I'd put up an Omega. Did you see Rob's comment?
Yeah, he said best
tried on a Rolex over 100K. That's awesome, man.
That's crazy.
With so many ADs here, I should try going.
Yeah,
different
crazy
ones.
amount of 80s. Like the most I have here is the Breitling and Tag in the mall, and the Rolex 80 is like half an hour drive. Which I'm going down that way with my girlfriend this coming weekend, so I may try to stop by sneak a trip and stop by there on the way down that way too. Maybe drag her in there. Hey, what's going on, Clive? Doing kind of an impromptu live stream tonight, which I told Clive earlier I didn't think I was going to do one today, but we just kind of decided to last minute.
Yeah, I know. But, when you asked,
you want me to send you?
I was.
Which Clive may get dragged on the other one though, so I don't know if I can send him a link now or not. When you see, you know which other one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go back to the comments here. Conspiracy, he bought an Omega Aquaterra yesterday as a baller as he's ever.
Nice.
The Aquaterra is a great watch. I had one of those in. My local buddy, me Tyler, he let me in his, and that 38 fits really well. It's a great kind of everyday watch.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way: I consider, like, I know the price difference, and people could say whatever they want, but I consider the quality of Rolex and Omega to be, right there. Now I've handled both, so but especially like the vintage ones, like a vintage sub and a vintage Submariner. I mean, a vintage Submariner and a vintage Seamaster. To me, the quality's the same.
Yeah.
On those. Now, the quality of Rolex is, it probably is surpassed, but to me, I consider them on the same plane. I consider
Clive link, by the way. That's what I was doing. I
consider
great watch.
I consider Omega and Rolex to be on the same plane.
I would say.
I know. I mean.
And Rob saying he'll find a pic and post it on Instagram. I'm assuming he's talking about a $100,000 watch. Nice. Like I said, I think the most expensive watch I've ever tried on personally is probably that AP. That's funny. You see what name is what's going on, man?
Sorry, let me take my camouflage down.
But yeah, just figured we come on now or earlier because George was available and Bobby, like I said, Bobby's doing his later, so I didn't want to do mine the same time Bobby's doing his because he's going to be doing a collection review with a man later here at 9. So figure we come on and talk. We're actually talking homages right now tonight, Clive. I don't know if you have. Well, you have the Wilson, right, as an homage, right?
Well, I prefer to think of it as a homo age. And it's the phony Flieger. Then I've got the had someone do up something with a nice little 1016 style dial on it, and I love that watch.
I was shown, which I sent you the picture earlier. I have the Axios, which is like the sister brand to Zelos.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know about you, but it kind of reminds me of like a Rado kind of in a way, like a Captain Cook.
Or like maybe like a 60s shoot. Seamaster, yeah. I was thinking
That's
Seamaster.
what George was saying. It reminds me of too.
Yeah, I actually had one, so that's See, the trouble is,
nice.
I wail on watches so much, sometimes I forget the real names. Mm-hmm. Like the IWC Manure, the Longines Brown Eye, the Omega Seaman Master. Sometimes it's hard to remember the actual name because I've been kind of wailing on them so long.
Now, me and George were talking earlier. Like I said, that our topic was homages, and I actually have I don't know if it's been delivered yet or not. They may have left it in the porch, but I have a Chinese homage, which you heard the brand Caddison. I ordered one of those just to try out.
No, I haven't. But
they're like under $100.
Well, as long as it's not an outright replica, say, for instance, the Bagel Sport. I think the baby sport is perfectly, and actually some of them have actually become accepted, like the Tribeca. The Jabril Tribeca is become accepted in its own right, even though it's basically a homo age to a 4-digit Newman Daytona.
Yeah, and we were saying, like, of course, a lot of us are on like budgets compared to everybody else, like certain people, and we're saying, like, I feel like it's okay for homage watches, like you said, as long as it's not like a direct replica, and you can kind of test drive that look for a while until you can afford, the actual Rolex or Blancpain or whatever it is an homage to. What's your take on that as somebody that's owned, of course, multiple Rolex, everything else? You think they're all right though, the homages?
Yeah, I think so. If it's especially as long as it's not an outright replica, and also if it's a smaller brand, like for instance, like Invicta, no. If it's a small independent brand doing it, or DeVos. DeVos watches, they do a really good homage to like the old radio mirrors. I think those they quit doing those, but I've got a couple and I love them. I won't get rid of them.
And then Jason's asking which watch now is considered mainstream but actually homage. Would you consider Steinhardt mainstream, guys? George?
No, I think by mainstream he's probably thinking more like something that you could like find at the store.
Or let's throw it down. Vacheron Constantin overseas. That's basically a homage to, like, it's based off the 222, but even the 222 isn't a Gerald Genta design. I think a Piaget Polo S, they're trying to pull off a Genta.
Okay.
So, I think a lot of the quote unquote reputable brands copy the really hot pieces out there.
And I was talking to George, if you remember back when I had my Maurice Lacroix, it was an homage to, the Acon. It was pretty much an homage to the AP Royal Oak. Like somebody like me, I won't say never because I never thought I was going to get a Zenith. But somebody like me, I'll probably never be able to afford an AP. I've tried one on, but I feel like that's an okay kind of like homage, wouldn't you say, for a brand like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. But
what's one that I think is mainstream, but it's an homage. We were talking about it earlier today. Was the that Seiko? Is it the SNK, the one that we were talking about for Boycott?
Yeah, the one that F17, I think. I have one.
Yeah, the one that everybody uses for the 55 fathoms. That's a mainstream watch. That is an homage. I'm sorry, Clyde. What were you saying?
Well, and the funny thing is, sometimes I'm wrong. Like for instance, I've got a couple of like vintage Omega Cosmics with the integrated bracelets, and I was thinking, okay, well, let's be honest, it's a homage to the Genta designs, but hey, it's from a reputable brand. It's from roughly the same time, so. But someone actually corrected me. Said the Cosmics were actually out with those designs before the Genta designs.
Okay. So even like the higher ends kind of do homages to the other brands.
Well, you could almost say that the AP Royal Oak is a homage to the Omega Cosmic.
And then Slatsman is saying, hey, Clive and guys, what do you think of the RGM watches out of Lancaster, PA, in-house USA movement, classy but very. I think if I remember correct, I think EC Deluxe had some in when I went there. They're not bad looking brand from what I've seen.
I haven't seen them.
But what were you saying, Clive? Sorry.
Well, actually, Bill Sanders had a couple, but he actually had a good video on this morning, basically asking what is a watchmaker, and he was showcasing a couple of brands. A couple of them I've heard of, and one of which I hadn't. But besides the question of discussing what's a watchmaker or not, he used a couple of brands out there that I thought looked really nice. both the dial, the case, and the movement, and for not obscene amounts of money.
Yeah.
I think his assertion was, if you don't make the movement, you're not a watchmaker.
Okay. I'd like to get Bill Sanders' take on homages. Is he against them for him? What do you think?
I think he's more of a movement nut. I think if someone released, he'll say, he'll look at watches and have this one has a similarity to this other watch, but it has this movement.
Okay.
I mean, he's not wrong when he says, if you don't make the movement, you're not a watchmaker. Although, I mean, technically, you're making a watch if you pop a movement, if you assemble it, you kind of technically make that watch.
But even with that, though, I think you're really a watchmaker when you repair it if you can make your own parts. I think that is the distinction. Mm. But if on the other hand, you're ordering the spare parts and assembling them, is that really a watchmaker, or are you just basically a mechanic?
Slatsman brings up a good point too. The Bell and Ross, which I actually, believe it or not, I know consensus is usually is either a love or hate a watch. I actually was kind of thinking about one of these as a BR05. That's as close to a knowledge as I'd probably ever get, and I think it's not a bad looking watch.
Yeah. To go back to what Clive was saying, I mean, I think you're right. Like if your car's acting up, you don't take it to an automaker, right? You take it to a repairman.
True.
But now, does a watchmaker that repairs your watch, does he have the skills? If you were to give him all the parts, could he assemble the movement? I'm sure that watchmaker has the skills to assemble it and make the watch.
Because just assembly and disassembly, they have to have knowledge to do that. But even just doing a routine maintenance, assuming there's no wear on any crucial parts, if it's just taking the movement apart, cleaning it, and lubricating it, that requires a disassembly of the movement.
This is true, and the same thing could be said about modding watches too. Like, of course, as you know, George Seiko's are really popular in modded, and a lot of people mod them to look like a yacht master, or they mod them to look like such and such watch, whatever, GMT master, whatever else.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I said, I feel like the homage is okay as long as, like we said before, like it's not a direct, blatant, like a fake. Like you're actually just stamping Rolex, or you're just stamping whatever else on the, just trying to pass it off as such and such.
But if everything else is identical and all, you just simply don't put you put your name on the dial instead of Rolex. Or all the people that do, there's some folks that do some pretty good replicas of Panerais, and what they do is that they don't put any name on the dial; it's just sterile.
Yeah, I forgot which company that was that they did that. That's all they did was, God, it's a pretty popular brand that they sell homage. All they do is homage watches, and you could buy it with the name on it, or you could buy it without it.
Now, if they sell with, what you mean, with the company that makes it name, or the original watch's name?
No, with the company that makes it.
Okay, yeah.
And they'll sell it with a name and without.
Well, again,
you'll see it all over Instagram. People are selling, $500 Rolexes, and they're obviously fake.
Yeah. Well, like Clive, what I was saying earlier was, I don't know if you were on here. What I said was, I don't mind homages, like like Steinhardt. They're putting their name on it, but if you're a quote unquote homage company and you're just changing one letter in the name. So like if the watch says Bolek or
Molex,
Rolex or something,
Molex.
You're not an homage company. You're just finding a different way to make a replica.
You're a shitty counterfeiter, in other words.
Right. And so to me, that's different from, let's say, Steinhardt, you know?
And Steinhardt, yeah, it's just like they're being lazy. They're not inspired. All they're doing is just copying Rolex's design and aesthetics. But yeah, they're not trying to pass themselves off as.
Like George and I were talking about earlier, like as soon as the new Cermet came out, like Steinhardt within like what 2 months or less than a month had a copy, like an almost direct homage to the Cermet.
Now, but that being said, at least, you know, if you buy a replica, 9 out of 10 times you're going to get a shitty watch. If you buy a Steinhardt, okay, they weren't, you know, they were inspired heavily by Rolex, but at least, at the very least, you're at least getting a quality product. You know what I mean? Like it's going to last you.
Right.
And then I was talking about, I don't know if you saw that video that Austin Daniels did. It's been a week or two ago, Clive, where he was talking about going out of country and being worried about his Rolex the whole time. If you remember that one.
No.
But he did a video not too long ago about where he was talking about going to, I forget where he went, but he left Japan. You know, he lives in Japan, of course, and he's talking about being worried about his Rolex the whole time. If you wear like a Steinhardt, you have the same look, whatever. But if you get robbed or whatever for, you know, in some other country, you don't have to worry. You know, you're going to be out $400 or $500 as opposed to $10,000 or $12,000.
I like Austin. I chat with him a lot on WhatsApp. But, you know, because basically once you head over like 2,000 subscribers, then they give you the phone, they give you the address book with all the other watch channels, phone numbers, and so forth on it. It's really, really good thing to have. Like the guy tremendously. However, it's just like all he talks about is Rolex, and there's life after Rolex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially now, I think. You know what's you know what I think would be funny? If you know, I told you I would take I personally will take an SKX. My SKX is the only watch that I have that has been on every single trip that I've gone, whether international or domestic. But I think it'd be funny, like if let's say I'm in Mexico and I am wearing, and if I took an Invicta Pro Diver, if I got robbed and I gave it to them, they look at it and they go, "Oh, you know what? No, it's okay. You can have it."
They might give it back to you, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes there are robberies, and Invicta owners get injured when the robber throws the watch back in their face.
Like, oh wait, this isn't a Rolex. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Slashman is saying style-wise, some of the Rolex Cellini Prince models had the deco feel of early Jaeger Reversos.
True. On the other hand, Rolex was making watches in the 20s and 30s that had an Art Deco feel because it was the
Yeah. Now,
what's
how about
that, the Time Teller? You know that his channel. He had a vintage Rolex, I think, on his Instagram that had like an Art Deco. I think it was. I think, like Clive said, I think it was like from the 30s.
Okay.
Well, it's more like a fart. I think it's more of a fart Deco than an Art Deco, but
man. But that's another one. Which the Reverso is, it's kind of one that's been kind of them and what Cartier. I would say they're kind of closely related looks wise, wouldn't you? Or do you think I'm wrong on that?
Yeah, I mean they are, just because they're the small. They're a small rectangular watch, but I mean at quick glance maybe you would. But I think JLC, I think the Reverso, once you get a good look at it, I think it's a little, because since it flips, the lugs are a lot thicker, so you can because I'm assuming you mean like the Reverso in the tank, right?
Yeah.
Like I think once you get a good look at it, I think the Reverso could stand on its own.
You know, if Jackie Kennedy if she drove a tank rather than wore one, could you imagine how different history would be?
Yeah.
By the way, do you know who owns her Cartier tank?
Oh God! No, I actually saw someone bought it. Someone famous, a Kardashian or something.
Who bought it?
Yes. Yep. There you go.
Who was it?
Kim Kardashian owns it.
Oh man.
And I think,
no comment.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think she bought it because she said she wanted a watch that was inconspicuous.
Yeah. Man.
So you can't go out and buy just a regular Cartier tank then? You have to go out and buy Jackie Kennedy's?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, actually, I wonder, because she was wearing it that day, maybe she has like some scientists in the basement, and maybe they'll clone JFK.
Man. But yeah, that's crazy though. So I guess the consensus is even the homages are kind of like across the board, from even the lower end, like the affordables, and even the higher end companies do it. I never even thought about the higher end companies even doing it, really.
Well, you know, I think I was talking, I don't remember if it was on the last one, but I brought up the new Bulivas that are the Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a rectangular one that looks a lot like the Cartier tank. It's actually my favorite of all because they brought out a series of Frank Sinatra watches, and I know one day one of my grails is a Reverso.
Mm-hmm. That's on my list.
Yeah, I think I would buy the. I think I want that Frank Sinatra, that rectangle one.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee Mike's asking question: best watch each of you currently own under $2,000, George?
Under $2,000. Best watch that I own under $2,000. It'll be two of them.
Cheating.
Okay, then I'll choose one because one of them was at 2,000, so I'll exclude that one. The best watch that I own under 2,000 is my Seamaster, my Omega Seamaster, the midsize. I have the midsize.
What about you, Clive?
Okay, currently like I said, I've had a couple. God, I remember back when you could actually get HS 36s for under 2,000. Read about that. Yeah, let me tell you some other great stories. But right now, I'd say it's probably that Leisure chronograph. That's my fave right now.
Nice. Of course, as you know, I consolidate a lot, so I'm really down to only a few now. That besides, of course, the Rolex, I can't include that. That's around like three to actually 5, I think. So I'd have to say probably my Seiko, my Orange Monster. It's probably the best one that I own right now.
Still a good watch.
Oh, yeah.
What, didn't you say that of all your watches now, most of them are quartz?
Yeah, besides that one, and well, now the Spinnaker and the Rolex, of course. So, but and this last man is saying the blood red dial reversa is beautiful. I agree with him on that one. That one, I don't usually like red, but that one is a gorgeous watch. What do you think about that one, Clive? Still with us, Clive?
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
You're good. But yeah, that blood red is sweet. Ken Spears saying that the NTH Barracuda Brown. NTH makes killer watches too. I've had a couple of those, and I actually got to meet Chris, the owner in Philly.
I was unsure if I was going to appear on the Archie stream or not, so you know.
You good?
I had when I know earlier I talked about it, but when I met up with CG in Florida, she had, because her grail was the Reverso, but the sport model, so it was the bigger one. And so, like, when we met up, we swapped watches. I can't remember which watch I took. I was on the better end of that swap. Like we swapped it for the day.
Well, in some cultures, you guys are officially married.
Yeah. So I think she wore my Sumo, and I wore her JLC. Wait, so I was on the better end of that.
After you swapped watches, did you two have sex?
No.
Okay, you were then married. Okay, you were married then.
But she, I like the sport model. You know, it was the one that was. I think it was a Chrono. I can't remember. I'll send a picture when I have a chance. But I had the, the one that I want is the dress one, the thinner one. That's the one that I want.
I like the dual face with the two different dials.
Oh yeah.
That's like two watches in one.
I know that once I get it, I'm gonna. Whenever I wear it, I'm gonna be spinning the face until so I think somebody commented last time if they had it, they would constantly keep playing with it until it spins on its own. I think eventually I would do the same thing.
What about you, Clive? Do you have a reverso currently, or?
But like I said, I had to do it. I had to do a face. And the thing is, sometimes, and like one time, someone got it. I was like, "Oh, hey, is that the new sub day?" I said, "Oh, cool. Can I take a look at it?" So I took out the reverso and handed it to him. And I was looking, and he was examining it. Then I kind of reached over and then flipped it to the other face, and that just blew his whittle mind. He's like, "God, how much did this watch cost? $180,000." So, yeah. But sorry, and I know I have people give me so much shit for this. I know I'll continue to get it. I don't care. I like the Parmigiani Calpa Hebdomadaire more. When I got my hands on the Calpa Hebdomadaire, that made the JLC dual face redundant.
Okay.
And between the two, I'll keep the Parmigiani all day long compared to the Reverso.
Okay. That's what makes the hobby great. You know, we've all got different likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock you for it.
Well, yeah. And I think the Calpa is a better watch.
Yeah.
I see Jason. Jason's calling it a night.
Yeah, have a good one, Jason. But Slatsman is asking, how about the red-faced Autumn Grand Seiko? Yeah, Grand Seiko does crazy dials. I've never really seen one in person, but from the macro shots and stuff I've seen on like certain videos, like AB, he does some of the best macro shots. Watch collecting strategy, and some of the macro shots on his videos are just crazy. What about you, Clive?
And like I said, I had someone loaned me, like I said, the beginning one, like the base, like a base model. Small baby gets wiped 235, I think. Japanese only, hand wound. Nice little touch of blue with blue second hand, but at the time I think it was Japan only, but it was like 4,000, a little under 4, and I think that watch just beat the crap out of anything close to its price range. To me, It was almost, and even though it was like like an entry level, the dial on that one was just fantastic. And to me, it's almost like steel. I mean, I was looking at it, just thinking, God, this thing is just making me think of something. And then Archie came on my TV, and he's like showing a reversal. I'm like, motherfucker, that's it. It's like it's almost like a steel reversal in quality.
I'd like to see it. I can't wait to see a Grand Seiko, the Snowflake, in person. I feel like that's a really cool dial.
I've seen it in person, but at a distance, like in the case. Like I didn't ask to see it, but God, that's a beautiful watch, man.
Well, I actually got to put one on my wrist and look at it, and it is even, it's exceptional dial.
Nice. But yeah, that's about all I had to add for tonight. We're a little over an hour now. Unless you guys got anything else you want to add.
I think I'm good.
Well, actually, one of the things I've been kind of watching is that every YouTube video should have like a call to action.
What you mean?
Basically asking the viewer to do something.
Gotcha.
So screw Archie.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know we don't get into here's the only thing that I'll ask every viewer to do is
Random Rob saying wait.
it doesn't matter who, but this is the only thing that I'll ever mention on politics on here. Go out and vote.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter for who. Vote for whoever you want. I don't care. I don't care.
Here's
Just
my
go out
saying.
and do it.
I've been saying. Here's what I'm saying. Shut up and vote. Shut up and vote.
Exactly.
Do both. So you can do both simultaneously.
Yep.
But that's what I'll ask the viewers to do. Go out and vote.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, that's one thing I'll say too. Like I said, Rob said he just wanted to see if we wait. But yeah, that's one thing I'll ask everybody. Like I said, whether you're for the same guy or not, I don't care. Just go out and vote.
Yeah, do it.
Pretty much the same thing. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Appreciate everybody that came on in the comments.
My pleasure.
I guess we'll
everybody
call it
everybody have a good Halloween. Have a good weekend. I know most people probably aren't going to do much, but enjoy it still.
I don't know. Yeah. The drama mama might take me out for my birthday on Sunday.
Okay.
Who's that?
The drama mama might take me out on my birthday on Sunday.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Nice. My birthday is actually election day. Happy early birthday.
Thank you too.
Happy birthday, guys.
Yeah, man.
Both of you.
All right. And we should